There is a place the world tried to forget. A place so secret, so buried in silence, that for decades people thought it was only a rumor. But it wasn't. It was real, and it was hell. In the 1930s, deep in the frozen lands of northeast China, the Japanese Imperial Army built a compound surrounded by tall walls and barbed wire. The sign outside called it a research facility. Inside, it was a slaughterhouse wearing a white coat. They called it Unit 731. Prisoners were brought in at night. Villagers, soldiers, men, women, even children. They thought they were being relocated. But when the gates shut behind them, they were no longer people. Scientists had another word for them. Maryuta. It means logs. Because to them, these victims were fuel for the fire of science. Inside the lab, everything was clean, organized, efficient. Steel tables, surgical tools, notebooks waiting for results. And then the screaming started. Doctors infected prisoners with plague, cholera, anthrax, diseases that kill in agony. They watched every symptom unfold, but never gave medicine. They wanted to see the human body die, inch by inch. And when death finally crept close, they did not wait for it. They cut the victims open alive, dissecting organs while hearts still beat, all in the name of research. In another room, men were tied to chairs and forced to breathe poisonous gas. Some were locked in pressure chambers until their eyes burst. Others were frozen solid in outdoor cells, arms dunked in icy water until skin turned white, then thawed again to watch how flesh cracked apart. Over and over, the cycle repeated, until there was nothing left to study. Women were not spared. Many were assaulted, made pregnant, and used to test infections on unborn children. Twins were a favorite subject. One infected, one left untouched, both cut open to compare their insides. Every page of every notebook dripped with human suffering disguised as data. And still, it went further. When experiments inside the walls were not enough, the scientists turned the world outside into their laboratory. Planes released plague-infected fleas over nearby villages. Thousands of innocent people died, and entire towns disappeared from maps. Their deaths were labeled field results. When the war finally ended, the empire collapsed, and Unit 731 vanished overnight. Buildings were burned, documents destroyed, prisoners executed so no one could talk. By the time Allied forces arrived, the snow was falling again, covering the ground where thousands had died. The doctors were gone, but their ghosts stayed behind. Here's the part that chills the blood even more. Most of the men who ran Unit 731 were never punished. Some were granted immunity by foreign powers in exchange for their valuable research. They went home, built careers, lived ordinary lives, while the people they tortured were erased from history. Even now, if you travel to Harbin, the site is almost silent. The walls have crumbled. The air feels heavy. Locals say on cold nights, when the wind rushes through the ruins, it carries whispers, screams, cries that seem to come from beneath the ground. Maybe it's just the wind, or maybe it's the echo of thousands of souls that never found peace. Unit 731, proof that the darkest monsters in history were not born in nightmares. They wore white coats, and they called it science.